All the ins on what's happening and what you want to know.
Today on our show, legendary rapper Bun B joins us, along with many of those familiar names and faces that make Houston fabulous and so much fun.
From the current season of Bravo's Top Chef, owner of June Houston, Henry Liu, and Chef Adrian Garcia, to the crowd-pleasing stand-up of Houston's very own Shenandoah.
Plus, we'll hear from local, regional, and federal lawmakers joining us to celebrate the rich and unique culture of the Bayou region. Hello Houston is as vibrant as the city we love.
And Frank, Ernie, and I are also so excited to hear from you. Join the conversation by phone, text, or online. We're waiting to hear from you.
The fun starts right after a news update from NPR and News 88.7. Stay with us.
Hello Houston is made possible in part by founding sponsors John Bradshaw and Kathy Sanders, and by gifts from listeners like you.
Live from NPR News, I'm Lakshmi Singh. Less than 100 days into his second administration, President Trump is not ruling out a third term. In an interview with NBC News, Trump was asked whether he has been presented with plans to allow him to seek a third term. Trump said, quote, "There are methods which you could do it," end quote. But, as NPR's Tamara Keith notes, Trump faces one major hurdle: the U.S. Constitution.
There are actually two amendments that would stand in his way. The 22nd Amendment is one of those. It was put in place after FDR served 4 terms. Separately, the 12th Amendment prevents anyone disqualified constitutionally from being the president from being the vice president.
NPR's Tamara Keith. This week, Trump's 25% tariffs on all imported cars and parts are set to take effect, and Trump says he will also announce a new wave of tariffs. NPR's Amy Held reports it comes as consumers grow more worried about the economy.
Aman Singh manages a Toyota dealership in New York. He says people keep calling, concerned about pricier cars.
We've been telling them, hey, listen, if you pick something I have here, it's that price.
For now, car prices would be likely to go up, analysts say, as companies pass tariff costs onto consumers.
The tariff issue is worrisome.
Jim Diley runs Fulton Brewing in Minneapolis. For him, it's tariffs on Canadian barley and aluminum.
It does mean dollars and cents for someone running a brewery.
Consumers also keeping a closer eye on their own dollars and cents, as surveys show consumer confidence is slipping. The Trump administration says tariffs will raise billions for the government and boost domestic production. Amy Held, NPR News.
French far-right leader Marine Le Pen is barred from running for office for 5 years and is highly unlikely to run for president in 2027. In a ruling that sent shockwaves through French politics today, a Paris court found Le Pen guilty of embezzling millions in EU money to fund her National Rally Party. She was sentenced to 4 years in prison, 2 suspended. She says she'll appeal the verdict. Rescue teams from India, Russia, and China have arrived in Myanmar, where more than 2,000 people are dead after a massive earthquake last Friday. Missing up to now are teams from the U.S. because it cuts to foreign aid. Here's NPR's Emily Fang.
The U.S. historically has been at the forefront of sending humanitarian teams and foreign aid to countries experiencing disaster. But after a 7.7 magnitude earthquake hit Myanmar with shocks reverberating across the border to neighboring Thailand, China has provided much of the initial relief, giving it a much more central role in global aid work in the absence of the U.S. China sent a team that rescued 6 people, including a child, from a collapsed building in Mandalay, where there's a strong ethnic Chinese-Burmese population as well. The Trump administration has gutted USAID, the aid agency that's been used to mobilize humanitarian teams quickly, and the administration terminated nearly all of its staff. Emily Fang, NPR News.
It's NPR.
Live from News 88.7 in Houston, I'm Matt Thomas. A court ruling from late last year changed how certain ethics laws are enforced. It requires prosecutors to go through the Texas Ethics Commission before pursuing any charges. But a new bill could change all that. From the Fort Bend County Bureau, News 88.7's Natalie Weber tells us about legislation that recently passed in the Texas Senate.
Texas Senate Bill 987 would add clarifying language to the Texas Government Code. This would mean that prosecutors would no longer need to seek permission from the Ethics Commission in order to pursue politicians who violate campaign laws. State Senator Paul Betancourt, a Houston Republican, co-authored the bill with fellow lawmaker Brian Birdwell. This is Betancourt speaking.
The legislature never intended that all matters be handled civilly through the Ethics Commission, and that would somehow preclude any DA in the state of taking up charges against an elected official.
The bill will now be reviewed by the State House of Representatives. From the Fort Bend County Bureau, I'm Natalie Weber, News 88.7.
The Houston Cougars men's basketball team punching their ticket to the Final Four in San Antonio. The Cougs shut down Tennessee en route to a 69-50 win this weekend. Fans at a watch party in the Heights were celebrating.
It's been close game after close game, and it's nice to have a blowout here.
I'm very proud at this moment. Yeah, I'm so excited. It's not just for the university, but it's for the city.
We're in San Antonio at home. Be yourselves. We're going to be behind you, man. Bring it home, baby.
The Cougars are on a 17-game winning streak. They'll get a chance to avenge last season's loss when they take on Duke Saturday. The weather for this afternoon should be clearing out. Highs in the mid-80s with a north wind 5 to 10 miles an hour. No rain in the forecast for tonight. Some fog developing. Lows in the mid-60s, back into the 80s tomorrow. I'm Matt Thomas, News 88.7.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Procter & Gamble, maker of Metamucil, a fiber supplement containing psyllium, a plant-based fiber for trapping and removing waste in the digestive system, designed to be taken every day. More at metamucil.com.
Support comes from Pearland, Texas, offering new construction with custom options and amenities, mature neighborhoods filled with trees, and urban living. Details at pearlandedc.com/inspiration. Pearland, inspiration lives here.
Support Houston Public Media by donating a vehicle you no longer need. We'll take it in any condition. It's free to you, easy to do, and it could mean hundreds of dollars in support. Visit houstonpublicmedia.org/cars to learn more.
Live from the University of Houston, it's Hello Houston, an open forum on today's biggest stories affecting Houston and beyond. Call now, 713-440-8870, or let us know your thoughts on today's topics by emailing us at talk@hellohouston.org. Now here's your host for Hello Houston, Ernie Manouse, Celeste Díaz Schurman, and Frank Billingsley.
Hello, Houston. Can you believe we made it?
Hello, Houston.
It's like you see the finish line and you finally get there. How are you? Hello, Celeste, Ernie, and Frank Billingsley.
Yeah, we're doing great. It's our official launch.
So much fun.
We are here. Now, as we say this, you're thinking to yourselves, what? I just turned on the radio and you guys are here. We have been preparing to welcome you into this show for a few months now, and it's so nice to actually get to launch. And when I say welcome you in, it's because this show, unlike a lot of things you listen to, you are part of the show. So we invite you to email us, to write us, to call us. Our phone lines are open starting right now for you to join the celebration, 713-440-8870.
And this is Frank Billingsley. You know, our show really is, as Ernie said, it is all about you. We did the research. We found out what people are wanting, what they're listening to, and all the different platforms that people are going to today. The internet, YouTube, websites, on their phones. You know, they're everywhere. And so we're going to be everywhere. And it gives us a chance to be everywhere and talk about the issues that concern us here in Houston. So I can't wait for everyone to go on this journey.
Instead of you trying to find us, we're everywhere that you go. So we're where you're at. So it's on YouTube, as Frank was saying. Social media has us covered. Our website, HoustonPublicMedia.org, or listening right here on News 88.7.
And I think that's what's so special about today, right? Is that as we're launching new friendships. Frank and I are, this has been really fun. And we're also, like you guys have been mentioning, we're launching this new YouTube stream. And that's really exciting because so many people hear us. But now you get to sit with us and have lunch with us and chit chat. So give us a call, 713-440-8870.
And just to clarify something Celeste just said there, yes, Celeste is making new friendships. Celeste and I are friends, right? Frank and I are already friends. It's not like they're friends and I'm over here. We're all friends, and it's nice to be doing this.
Ernie and I have been friends since Ernie was
the dawn of
teenager,
time. I think. Okay, I've got a question that the audience can help me with here. So any suggestions you have? We keep talking about this as Hello Houston, but it's really a show for the whole region. And the problem I run into all the time is, what do we call this region? Up in Chicago, we called it Chicagoland. When I first came down here and was working on Channel 8, I used to say all the time, Houston land never
How'd
caught
that
on.
go over? Yeah.
Nothing. Nobody was interested. So we need a really, because you were saying,
I mean, as a weatherman, we always say Southeast Texas. That's the
really
forecast for
not.
Southeast Texas. That's not very sexy.
No.
Well, I mean, you've heard H-Town. A lot of people call it H-Town.
I would say Houston or the greater Houston area.
Well, that sounds like a phone book.
That is what it is. Sorry, that is.
What about HGX?
It sounds very Houston-centric still. So we need some. Well, anyway, we're putting it into your hands. We have been kicking around ideas. What do you think is a better name for this region? I mean, we call it the Bayou City or, things, but it still seems very Houston-specific. We love you, Houston. But we've also got like 32 communities that hear from us. So give us your suggestions, 713-440-8870. The control room did not know I was going to be doing this, so inundate them with your ideas.
Yeah, you can email us too at talk@hellohouston.org. So that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Talk@hellohouston.org. And we're worldwide. Did you know we're worldwide? That's an ambitious statement, isn't it?
We are international,
I mean,
baby.
everywhere you can get us because of thanks to YouTube. We're streaming live. So if you want to find us, just go to HoustonPublicMedia.org. There is a link to the YouTube channel. Or you can go to youtube.com for that matter and just hit /Houston Public Media.
And if you're curious, every single day, Monday through Friday, 11 to 1, Ernie, Frank, and myself will open Hello Houston with the hot headlines. We're going to introduce the big talking points, the topics of the day that everybody is chatting about, and we're going to really try not to get ourselves in trouble. But
we're going to get you in trouble.
I guarantee you we will. But you can text us, you can email us, send us a direct message, like us on Facebook. Our Instagram account is hellohouston.show, and we're going to be really interactive. And that is what is so exciting about this show today, is that we get to hear from you.
Okay, enough of hearing from us. Let's get into the topics of the news. Are you ready for us, Celeste? What have you got?
Yep, big news coming out of Houston sports. So the University of Houston Cougars are headed to the Final Four. Go Cougs!
That's amazing, isn't it?
It is really, really incredible. And last night, the game was amazing. Last night, the Cougars men's basketball team beat out the number 2 Tennessee Volunteers. And boy, did Houstonians. They showed up and they showed out to cheer on the team. Here's a clip of fans at a downtown watch party celebrating early.
We were beating them up all game. We were playing great defense. They couldn't shoot, and it was too much for them.
But then it kind of got scary because we started missing some things. But the other team didn't give up.
I told the Cougars last time, if I want suspense, I'll go to the movies. I want overwhelming dominance, and that's what they gave us today. Go Cougars.
That's right. Go Cougars. So this will be their second Final Four appearance in the last 5 years. Katy native, shout out to our Katy people out there. LJ Cryer is a senior at U of H and led the team with 17 points. The Cougars will be on the court again on Saturday in San Antonio to play Duke, a team that knocked them out in the number last year's tournament.
Yeah, this is a big game because it is the Final Four. There are just 4 left now. Florida, Auburn, they're going to play each other, and then Duke and the Cougars. And so then whoever wins there on Saturday goes to the playoff on Monday and takes the whole cake.
And this is exciting. This is really, really exciting. And here's a clip from last night's game.
7th heaven for Houston. The Cougars advance to their 7th Final Four and hoping this trip brings them their first title.
We are so, so proud of the University of Houston men's basketball team. Go Cougs. We want to hear from all of you, our Cougs out there. Give us a call, 713-440-8870. Are we going to go all the way? Is this going to be the year?
After the way they played yesterday, I think that they probably very well could. But, I mean, Duke is formidable.
Yeah.
I'm not a basketball expert, but I do like March Madness because it's just these almost snippets of great teams really showing up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's fun to watch. Even if you're not a huge basketball fan, Ernie, you can enjoy it.
Ernie. Well, I do have, though, the next topic of the week that kind of plays into that, but we want to hear what you think. Are you rooting for the Cougs to go all the way? Give us a call, 713-440-8870. But now, still talking about sports in our great city, there is this program, Downtown Houston Plus, which is going to give facelifts to parts of our city. We're very excited. There's a coalition of 3 grant programs available for certain downtown businesses to improve the area in time for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Houston is scheduled to host several matches at NRG, and that's more than $2.2 million is available in grant money to split across 3 different grants. I have to say, if it weren't for sports championships, I don't know when we would pay attention to making our city more beautiful. Super Bowl, we fix the streets. FIFA, we're going to fix some businesses.
FIFA's all about soccer, right?
Yes. It is all about
That's
soccer.
the World Cup.
I'm not going to assume that everybody listening knows what the FIFA World Cup is.
They're the ones who own World Cup.
Well, I think it's a good thing because it pushes the issue, and that's what we want. We want to put the best of what Houston has to offer. And, it's been a really long time since the FIFA World Cup has been a host for in North America. This is a big
huge.
deal.
We started hearing about this in 2020. We started hearing about 2026, and it seemed so far away. And now it's right around the corner. I know, and we're going to be doing it, but between that and Super Bowls, I don't know why we can't get the Olympics here, at least in the next 20 years.
And the other thing is we know that from an economic standpoint.
Oh, it's huge.
It's a big deal.
Huge.
The tourism. People,
It's funny because we will talk at some point about Eurovision. I'll put that to the side. But there are things that happen in the world that we as Americans don't realize are as important as they are. Yes, World Cup has gotten much more attention. But this is huge for us. And for us to be a host city of 7 games, it will make a huge impact financially. And that's really going to be neat for us.
Yeah, I think so.
If you want to call and tell us, give us a call what you think. 713-440-8870.
So we're talking about the Cougars. We're talking about a downtown facelift. Cougars and facelifts. It's almost like a housewife show, isn't it? Just a little bit. I could talk about either one of those subjects. I could also talk about weather.
Different Cougars,
I
Frank.
know. We've had some interesting weather. Galveston had some big street flooding yesterday.
Yeah.
I know, just boom, that right out. When we get rain around here this time of year, we start these tropical rain showers, and they can be really dangerous. So be careful out there. The week ahead, just to let you know, if you ever want my opinion about the weather,
we always want your opinion.
I'm happy to give it. It's one of the things I'm an expert at, right? So sort of what we've been saying, fog and clouds and sun and warm temperatures in the 80s and 70s at night. But then weekend rain, it looks like, as we go into Saturday especially. But, we don't have a drought right now, but April is a lot of times when you really don't see a lot of rain around here, and you can get into one pretty quickly. So we want to avoid that, that's for sure.
Well, it's important that we have the right weather so we can enjoy our fair city. Give us a call if you want to join in and chat about any of these topics with us, 713-440-8870. Call us if you have an idea for the name of our region that we can adopt and get out there. But, we are launching on this new journey for us, which is the show specifically talking and highlighting our fair city and region. Somebody who has been doing this for a while is a good friend of ours. It is the host of H-Town Live over at CW39, our dear friend, Maggie Flecknoe. Hello there, Maggie.
Hello, you all. Congratulations on the new show. I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you. We could not think of starting the show without reaching out to you to give us some advice on how we can keep this show exciting, energetic, and still celebrate our fair town.
Well, honestly, Ernie, you know how I am. I keep it real. So that's what my biggest piece of advice is each of you bring something to the table and just be authentically yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that, cut the fake, other people are fake. Don't be fake. Just be yourself. Everybody loves you each for what you bring to the table. Like, Frank, it's so nice to hear you doing the forecast again. I miss it.
Oh, thank you so much. Bill Baessa always said, it's all about sincerity, and once you learn to fake that, you'll have it made.
Amen to that. Bill needs to be on and not me. But no, I'm just really excited that, in a way, I've watched you guys, the 3 of you, and how you work. I'm like, I'm envious. This is a great trio.
Oh, Maggie, thank you.
You're going to have to join us, Maggie, in studio one of these days.
Oh, my goodness, I would love it, because I got my start in radio. And let me tell you, there's nothing better, and Ernie knows I always hang out with the radio peeps.
Yeah.
Because they're not fake, and they're just, authentically themselves and unapologetically themselves.
Frank,
so,
is that a
I'm
slam
excited.
against us from our television pasts?
No. I was on television a long time, and you get to where you can't reinvent yourself all the time on TV. You have to be, as Maggie is saying, you have to be you. That's all you can be.
Maggie, mom to mom, what advice do you have for juggling a career in such a public, industry as well as being a mom?
Well, I think you need to bring that and just talk to your listeners about what you went through that day. Keep it real. Like, for instance, today, right before I had my show, I was on the search for my daughter's missing lovey. And was it my mom's calling me, and I ran to get it, and I was a little frazzled. My hair went flat. Frank, this forecast is not a haircut.
Not good.
And I was like, I just talked about it on air. I mean, just, again, all of your life experiences, because you're going to touch everybody out there. We're all just trying to get through the day. And give yourself grace, too.
Yeah,
Meg,
especially with your hair.
It's funny how people forget that when you're on air, there's still a life you're dealing with outside of it. And yet you always seem to sparkle when they get you in front of that camera.
Well, thank you. I think for me, I started with live theater. That's my background since I was 5 years old. And that's why I love the magic of a live show. I mean, things are going to go wrong, but then you're like, well, it's live radio, live TV. It happens. We do it again the next day. We're so lucky to do what we do each and every day, and to have people listen to us or watch us and invite us into their homes and share their stories.
Well, being the host of H-Town Live, what are some of your favorite things about Houston? What's something you've discovered that you want people to know about?
Oh, my goodness. What I love is that it's a big city, small town feel.
Yeah.
So everybody knows everybody, and I love that. And I love that we always, I mean, it's love or hate, but I really love it. And I love that we all come together in times of need, and the nonprofits here. That's my favorite thing, is to showcase all the different nonprofits. And also the art. People don't think about the arts when they come to Houston.
And
they
the restaurant
still think oil
scene.
and gas cowboys.
Well, we'll be talking about a lot of the arts and all the different scenes, not just on today's show. We've got some great guests coming up, but throughout the week, the months, the years that we're going to be here.
Okay. Thank you for Maggie, thank you so much for joining us. That was H-Town Live host Maggie Flecknoe. It's a delight. Our first real guest here on Hello Houston. So thank you very much.
Thank you. My mom always says before anything, make magic. So you guys make magic.
Love it. Love it.
Coming up on Hello Houston, we'll be speaking with Houston-based rapper and entrepreneur Bun B. And many more as Hello Houston continues. And our phone lines are open. Give us a call. Ernie, Frank, and I are ready to chat with you on any of today's topics at 713-440-8870. This is Hello Houston on News 88.7.
Support comes from the Guide to Good Divorce seminars, created by attorney Trey Yates to help women navigate the divorce process. Saturday, April 5th at the St. Regis Hotel. Registration at guidetogooddivorce.com/radio. Support comes from Doran Mayhew, a CPA and advisory firm with tax, accounting, audit, payroll, consulting, and more, serving all sectors, including construction, manufacturing, wholesale and distribution, and international. More at doeren.com.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from Houston Community College, with 8 areas of study, offering students over 90 programs and career choices, online or in person. Sign up information and more at hccs.edu.
Support comes from Houston Grand Opera, presenting Missy Mazzoli's contemporary opera Breaking the Waves, making its Houston debut at the Wortham Center from April 19th through May 4th. Tickets are available at hgo.org.
The State Department has wide powers to revoke people's student visas. We're seeing almost the same type of language being used to describe the immigrants who are being picked up right now as we saw during that time in the post-9/11 era.
I'm Rachel Abrams. That's Today on the Daily from the New York Times.
You can hear The Daily. It's on tonight at 7.
Support comes from Pearland, Texas, a community with a variety of living options, from new construction, mature neighborhoods, and urban living, designed for any lifestyle. More at pearlandedc.com/inspiration. Pearland, inspiration lives here. Tonight on Houston Public Media TV8, Antiques Roadshow strikes gold in Colorado as the new season continues from the Botanic Gardens and Chatfield Farms in Denver. Tonight at 7 on TV8 or stream on the PBS app.
And now back to Hello Houston. To comment on any of today's topics, call 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org. Now back to Ernie Manouse, Celeste Díaz Schurman, and Frank Billingsley.
Hello, Houston. Welcome back. I'm Frank Billingsley.
And I'm Celeste Díaz Schurman.
And I'm Ernie Manouse. On today's show, we still have a lot of great guests waiting to join us. We have Bun B. We have from the Houston Ballet, Harper Waters, theater impresario, Tamari Cooper is going to be here. Chefs Evelyn and Chef Henry from June, Courtney Zavala, Dr. Troisi, our county commissioner, our city controller. We got a full show for you today.
Hey, I just had a nice text from my pal, Randy McElvoy, sports director at KPRC2.
Yeah, what do you say?
He said, congrats on the show. If y'all need U of H or HOU sports stuff this week or anytime, let me know.
Great.
I got a text from a friend that said, yay, Eurovision.
And we got some cookies as well.
We did. Where's that little card? I do want to mention this morning we were greeted with a Tiff's Treat box of cookies from our old producer, Don Geraci, who had been with me for many years here at the station. He has recently retired, but he's still part of the family, and he wished us the best, and he told us to break a leg. And I think he means it in the nicest possible
I'm sorry,
way.
I'm chuckling to myself because Ernie was like, this is so kind. I want to mention it. And now I'm like, Ernie, remember?
There's a lot going on in this little pea brain of mine, so we got to keep it all going.
Hey, you want to go to the phones? We got somebody on the phones.
We do.
Stephen is from the West Side. He wants to talk about the World Cup. He probably knows a lot more than we do. Stephen, are you there?
Hello, Stephen.
And I guess you're going to have this group with you all the time, but it's great.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. My question is, what is FIFA? What are we going to do to meet professional soccer's requirement for a natural grass field that's in our G Stadium? Took out our lovely natural grass field and put in a artificial surface, and furthermore, could professional sports as well as high school sports and junior high school sports take a lesson from professional soccer and say, we're going to play. You want to see some athletics and come up with some grass, because we're not playing on AstroTurf. We're not playing on artificial surface because that causes more injuries.
Yeah.
The medical community knows it causes more injuries. And it's painful to me to watch athletes play on an artificial surface. It's painful.
Yeah.
That's a great question, Steve. I think it's one of those things that as we're gearing up for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, I think a lot of people are going to have questions like that, and we will be sure to get some of those officials on our show, and you can keep listening to Hello Houston to make sure we're answering. That's a fantastic point, and I love hearing people bring up those good points.
Hey, Steve, do you think we could convince them to put the natural grass back in?
Oof.
They're not good. Well, FIFA's not going to play on artificial surface, so they're going to have to put natural grass back in if they're going to have FIFA play a game.
Well, they're supposed to play 7 of them in our area, so let's hope.
I would imagine that's really
expensive.
expensive.
They're going to build a new stadium or put it over there where our soccer team plays.
Well, Steve, thanks for those thoughts, and we're going to keep on top of FIFA and World Cup news as it comes in. So thank you for your call.
Perfect. Again, 713-440-8870 if you'd like to give us a call.
And you can also email us at talk@hellohouston.org. And for all of you on Instagram, follow us, hellohouston.show, and you can listen to the podcast of this show at any time on all podcasting platforms.
Hey, George is from Kingwood, and he wants to talk to us, I think, about the University of Houston, maybe a little more. Cougar Talk. George, what's up?
George is calling us from a wind tunnel. George, are you there? Can you hear us? We'll get back to George. I don't think I can hear him. Can you guys hear him?
No, I couldn't hear him.
No, you can try again, 713-440-8870.
Also, remember, when you do call, turn off your radios, turn off your whatever device you're listening to us on, or at least mute it. There is a slight delay, and we don't want to make you confused. But moving right along. Frank, what are we going now?
Hey, I was on TV for a while, right?
Were you?
Really?
And I thought, I'm going to take a radio show, and I won't have to worry about hair and makeup anymore. But guess what? We're on YouTube.
That's right.
There you go. And you can watch our live stream by going to the YouTube link at HoustonPublicMedia.org or go to youtube.com/HoustonPublicMedia. You can also phone your friends who missed this show and have them watch it any hour from at 1 o'clock. We're going to post this whole 2 hours again, and we'll have a 40-minute, what we call a commuter cut by 3 p.m. for those of you that like to listen to Spotify on the way home or wherever you get your favorite information on any kind of YouTube channels.
Yeah. But enough of us yapping. We got a guest for us, don't we?
We do.
Frank?
Often considered the ambassador of Houston.
True.
He's had a huge career as a rapper, both with the duo UGK and as a solo artist, as an entrepreneur. And, of course, everybody knows about Trill Burgers by now. Won the Good Morning America's Best Burger competition back in 2022, and he hosts a takeover night at the Houston Livestock Show with all of his buddies. And I think that you couldn't ask for a more successful night. Bun B, welcome to Hello Houston.
Hey, good morning, and congratulations on this new show, guys.
Thank you.
I tell you, it's like opening a burger joint, isn't it? It takes a while. It's a lot of effort.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd have to, look a certain way every time I had to go to the shop, but everybody wants to take pictures and shoot videos, so I could have warned you, Frank. You're going to have to dress up for this.
I'll tell you what. Congratulations on the Trill Burgers, and I'm assuming people. Trill stands for trillion, right? Is that where I know you had all the albums in the early part of 2005, 2007. 2012. I know you've had a lot of success with that Trill. So am I right in that Trill stands for trillion?
No, but we're aiming for it. We're aiming for it.
Yeah. So, Bun, tell me this. What is the secret to making a good burger? What have you learned?
Well, I've learned that most people don't have hamburgers highly regarded. A hamburger is an afterthought for most people. It was for me for many years. And typically people don't really go in and get a hamburger unless they're short on time for lunch or basically trying to put something in their stomach after going out and having a little drinking or whatnot, right?
Right.
So a burger is not something that most people put a lot of expectations on. So the level of success from a flavor aspect has been very low. People have basically just kind of taken what they've been given. And as a person that likes burgers, I always, love a good burger. But when I tried this burger, I realized it was a really, really great burger. And more than just a good burger, it was a really good meal, an opportunity for people to try something different.
Yeah.
So we tried it. We fell in love with it. But I thought it was just me, right? I was like, I got to figure out if everybody else likes this burger as much as I do.
Well, I think if I had a choice of a last meal, I think it would be a burger.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I love hamburgers.
A Trill burger, specifically.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Bun B.
People love burgers. People love burgers, but they don't expect much from a burger.
That's true. Your name is Bun B. How much attention did you have to pay to the bun?
Oh, man, look. This is the thing, right? We literally went back and forth over what we were going to call this thing. And a lot of the titles were pun-worthy, to be fair. Like, trying to draw that line between Bun B and the burger bun. But we didn't want the bun. While our buns are great, we get our buns from Martin's, their potato rolls, and they're amazing. The star of the show is the patty, is the actual patty itself. So we didn't want to confuse people to think that, as long as we got good bread, it's a good sandwich. No, every component of the sandwich needs to be at its highest level. So we found the best bread that combined with the flavor palette of the burgers and the fries, because it's the whole thing. Very few people eat burgers without fries, so the fries have to be a good complement to the burger.
You're making me hungry.
Yeah, it's lunchtime.
You're absolutely right. So I want to ask a personal question. Are you a simple burger guy, like just mustard and ketchup, or do you go all the way with everything on it?
I'm very simple with food. And that's why when I told my wife about this burger for the first time, she was a little bit confused because I don't typically eat onions or pickles. And so when I told her, I was like, hey, I just had this meeting about this burger. I think it's the best burger in the world. She's like, great, what's on it? I was like, it's just meat and cheese, onions, pickles, and sauce. She was like, wait a minute. So you have a hamburger that has no lettuce and no tomatoes? I was like, yeah. No, she's like, but it has onions and pickles, which you do not eat. Is that what you're telling me? I was like, yeah, but I ate it today. And that's the thing, like, I eat everything that we cook first. I'm the crash test dummy for a lot of this stuff. Because I always want everything to be a great experience. So even if we decide, hey, we're going to do a burger around this type of holiday, well, it can't just be something that kind of fits a theme. It's got to be something that really tastes good for people and is a worthwhile experience for people to make time to come to the store and try the food out. So I've eaten a lot of things that typically I wouldn't eat on food. But my chefs are amazing. They always say, Bun, trust me on this. I trust them. I try it. I've eaten ranch. I don't particularly care for ranch. We did a burger that was a bit of a take on a Bun B in L.A. Would not have been my thing. Cucumbers and carrots and things like that. But it complements the meal. And so if I can eat this food, I know if I can like it, people are always going to love it.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Bun B, I am a extra pickles type of girl. I like the extra pickles, but I know we've talked about food. I want to know about how you felt about this year's takeover night at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. That's become a really, really popular night. How did it go, Bun B?
Oh, well, first of all, you can always get extra pickles at Trill Burger, so don't hesitate.
I've actually had a Trill Burger, and it was delicious. But yeah, I want to hear about the Livestock Show and Rodeo.
I mean, every year that I'm approached to perform, it really blows my mind. Ever since the first year, having the opportunity, being from Houston, to headline a concert on that stage at the rodeo, I mean, it's really hard to put into comparison with any other entertainment experience that I've ever had. It's far and away the biggest stage I've had to headline personally, and just trying to make sure that I'm not being super selfish about the opportunity.
Yeah.
To be quite fair, if I had done the first year and it was just a Bun B show and I did all the hits and brought one or two people out who had songs with me, this thing would have been over with because I wouldn't have had much more of a show to present to people. But by us realizing that, the better shows come from when you take a little bit of yourself out and allow something else in. It brings different energy. It takes people in a different place where they weren't expecting to go. And so we've been able to have some real fun with, finding different artists that lend themselves to different sensitivities, but make sense in the room. Now, some things we tried to do before, and I do have to go through the rodeo. The rodeo basically vets anything I want to do, so I can't just put anyone I want to put on there. But typically when we have a good idea of what we want to present and we have the right theme with it, the rodeo will typically go, for the most part, with our vision. But it is a back and forth, and it is a compliment because the rodeo is over 90 years old, has a lot of prestige and honor to it, and we don't want to take away from that. And I don't think what we bring to the stage typically would take away from that. So it's definitely a complementary process between myself and the rodeo, but it all ends up working out, and people end up getting the best show they could possibly get on my night.
Bun, it's interesting how many entertainers I've talked to over the years that have all said just how special it is to be out on that stage at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, that it really is something cool.
No, it is. And to be a hip-hop artist, quite frankly, we're very new.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I have to keep that take that into consideration every year because, one, I have to give the people a good show. Two, it has to be something that the rodeo is happy to present. And three, it has to be something that doesn't leave a black eye on the hip-hop culture.
Right.
It's very important that we try to stick to the code and make sure, we understand if growing up in Houston, this is a family event. You know what I'm saying? So, and they've had some incidents with other artists, not us, but they've had incidents with other artists with language and dancing and wardrobe and stuff like that. I'm a representative of Houston, so no one else should understand what the rodeo deserves out of a performance than me. Everyone else is typically from out of town.
We appreciate all you do for Houston. We know you could live anywhere that you wanted to live. You've chosen to make Houston home continuously, and you brought us Trill Burger too. Bun B, thank you so much for being on the show.
Guys, thank you so much for having me, and congratulations again. I'm going to come in studio. Next time you guys want me to come up, I'm going to come in studio if that's all right.
Oh, we would love it. We'd love to have you here
with burgers.
Yeah, bring us burgers.
Hey, Bun, Houston
and tenders, because you guys need to try the tenders now too.
All right, you bring those.
Hey, Bun, Houston is a better place because you're in it. So thank you for being a Houstonian, and thank you for being on our show.
No problem, guys. Have a great one, and congratulations again. I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Houston rapper and entrepreneur Bun B. Thank you for joining us here on Hello Houston.
Now we'd like to welcome City of Houston Controller Chris Hollins. He is the Chief Financial Officer of the city and oversees the city's budget. Controller Hollins, Good morning. We kind of brought you in quickly. Welcome to Hello Houston.
Good morning. Good morning. It's awesome to be here, and congratulations. This is
Thank
exciting.
you. And you're our first in-studio guest. So
yes.
I'm going to put it on my resume.
Thank you for being here. Yes.
We are really proud of what we have here at Houston Public Media, and it's exciting to have a guest with us right now.
Absolutely. Beautiful to be here.
So we have questions.
Oh, yeah.
First, how do you like your thankless job? You have a really tough one. I will say that, Chris. So this $330 million budget deficit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what are we going to do to get out of this hole?
That's a good question that you'll have to ask your mayor and city council. Look, my job is to roll the numbers out, right? To share the facts, to make sure that people understand, including, our policymakers, that they understand the financial consequences of the decisions that they're making. And so what I've been doing for the last 15 months is saying, look, we have a growing city. We have needs for public safety, for people getting their trash picked up on time, for parks, for libraries. But we also have to understand that stuff costs money, and we have to know how we're going to pay for those critical services. And where we've been doing, for the last year and some change, and even much longer, is that we're spending more money than is coming in, and at some point you got to pay the piper.
Do we borrow from Peter to pay Paul? Is that one of the problems we've run into?
Well, something that has been done is using one-time funding sources for recurring costs, right? So during the pandemic, cities, counties, states across the country got a lot of funding from the federal government. Right. And we took that one-time money, which we knew we were only going to get one time, but we started putting it towards things like employee salaries, which next year they come due again, right? And so now that money's gone, we still have to pay for those employee salaries. And that's just one of the reasons that why we're in some financial challenges right now.
Are there particular cities or municipalities that you look to that have kind of got the budgetary world figured out that are kind of inspirational to you?
Look, I want to be honest with you. There are a lot of major cities. If you think about Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, and we're the fourth largest city, they're facing similar troubles with big deficits.
Right.
But I just got back a couple weeks ago from beautiful Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, right? And they are AAA rated as a city, right? They keep a significant amount of their annual budget in cash on hand just for rainy days and emergencies. And so their chief financial officer is somebody who I look to for counsel quite often.
So, Controller Hollins, you started a fiscal year audit plan. Can you talk to us about what that looks like and what you're expecting from your audit plan of the city?
Sure. So as your city controller, I'm the independently elected chief financial officer of the city. One of my many jobs is to be the city's auditor, to focus on accountability, to crack down on waste, fraud, and abuse, and particularly in a time with a $300+ million deficit, looking for opportunities to save money or to locate revenues, right? And so we just issued our fiscal year 2025 audit plan. It has 37 new engagements on it, and many of those are looking for ways that we can cut down on costs, right? A big one that we're going to talk about tomorrow at City Council is overtime.
Yeah.
So our firefighters, our police officers, all of who are doing incredible and important work, those overtime numbers are skyrocketing. And we have to understand what's behind that and take action to get a hold of it. Similarly, our solid waste management department, folks who have been picking up our trash and, they're understaffed. Their vehicles for a long time have not been up to par. And for that reason, a lot of our trash remains on our curb longer than it should. And they're working record overtime to solve that. But we have to fix it. So that's just one example of something that we're looking into to figure out how we can save money to continue to provide high-level services for Houstonians.
This $330 million budget, what is our full budget?
That's exactly what I was going to. How does this really fit into the picture? Because it sounds astronomical to us.
But it's about a 10% shortfall. Is that what it is?
It is. So your overall budget for the entire city, $7 billion with a B, big number. But when we talk about the deficit, we're talking about the general fund. The general fund is what pays for police, fire, trash, parks, libraries. And how we pay for that is through your property taxes, through sales taxes, and then through some other fees and revenues that come in. That general fund budget is just north of $3 billion. And yes.
So this is 10%. We're 10% shortfall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are you a math major?
Only when it's 10%. I can do that really quick. I deal with percentages my whole career.
So, Chris, what do you see in the future in that crystal ball of how we get things balanced out and get out of this? Or is it something that we will just continue to carry and that's okay from a bookkeeping point of view?
Well, we can't continue to carry it. And there's no magic here, right? In the same way that you balance your checkbook, every month.
I don't know that you want to balance the way I balance my checkbook.
In the same way that you should.
Yeah,
right. You either got two choices, right? Because if you're spending more than you're bringing in, then you're going to run out of money. And we're getting closer and closer to that point with the city of Houston. There's only two ways out of it. You either reduce your costs or you bring some more revenue in, or some combination of the two. And city council, along with the mayor, needs to put out a plan for how we're going to either increase revenues or decrease costs, or both, to get us to a more fiscal sustainable situation.
Quick question. Renaming Bagby Street after the late Sylvester Turner. What's up with that?
This is one of the many ways that we should honor the life and legacy of former mayor and Congressman Sylvester Turner. A personal hero of mine, a friend and a mentor. I get pretty emotional talking about him. That's still fresh. But he did so much in service of this community, dedicating his life to this city, bringing us through Hurricane Harvey, bringing us through the pandemic, bringing us through winter storms. And it's just, again, one way that we should honor him, his family, and this entire city. And so what we're proposing is the downtown stretch of Bagby, which is like 6 or 7 blocks. The city already owns most of the property on that street anyhow. And what we need is 75% of property owners to sign a petition in order to drive that change. And then there's a couple other stops at City Hall that goes on. We already have the support from enough of the private owners to do this, and now we just need the city support. And so I'm asking City Council and the mayor to get behind this unanimously and to name Bagby Street downtown to what will now be Sylvester Turner Avenue.
Oh, that's lovely. Good luck.
It really is. That was the City of Houston Controller, Chris Hollins. Controller Hollins, thanks so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure. I look forward to coming back soon.
First in studio.
We love firsts.
Coming
go
up,
Cougs.
Coming up on Hello Houston, the conversation continues with Harris County Commissioner Adrian Garcia and Houston Ballet's Harper Waters. And we love hearing from you. Give us a call on any of today's topics at 713-440-8870. This is Hello Houston on News 88.7.
A Biden-era program allowing more than 200,000 Ukrainians to come to the U.S. was halted by President Trump. Now, thousands of Ukrainians in the U.S. face an uncertain future.
Ukrainians, we cannot create any plans for our lives because of this situation. We cannot live full life.
Planning for a future on pause. On All Things Considered from NPR News.
Today at 3.
I'm Stephen Dubner. On the next Freakonomics Radio, Lena Khan, chair of the Federal Trade Commission under President Biden, rebooted U.S. antitrust policy.
If you tally up our wins and losses, we have done better than prior administrations.
And so far, the Trump administration has kept her blueprint.
I view the stakes here as being existential for our country.
That's next time on Freakonomics Radio.
You can hear that tonight at 9 on News 88.7.
Elevate your impact with Houston Public Media. Today is New Member Monday. Now is the perfect moment to make a difference by becoming a new member. Your first donation supports trusted news, educational documentaries, and enriching arts on air. Join us in our mission to inform, educate, and inspire Houston. Visit houstonpublicmedia.org/donate and make your first contribution today. Together, let's shape a future filled with quality programming and community engagement. Thank you for being a vital part of Houston Public Media.
Support comes from the Woodlands Waterway Arts Festival. Over 200 artists, authors, live music, food, and children's activities at the Woodlands Waterway, April 11th through 13th. More at thewoodlandsartscouncil.org, a 20-year journey of making art matter. Support for Houston Public Media comes from Certa Pro Painters, offering residential and commercial painting services, from color consultations to full project management. Estimates and more at CertaPro.com.
And now back to Hello Houston. Call 713-440-8870 or email us at talk@hellohouston.org to get your comment in on today's topics. Now back to Ernie Manouse, Celeste Díaz Schurman, and Frank Billingsley.
Welcome back to Hello Houston.
Hello, Houston.
Yeah, today really is a celebration of the launch of this show, our brand new talk show that we're so very proud of. If you'd like to join in on the celebration, feel free to give us a call, 713-440-8870.
It truly is a celebration. We have friends in studio coming and joining us all throughout the show. We've had some great ones already. We've got so much more in store for you. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Gotta keep listening.
Right now, we're going to welcome Harris County Precinct 2 Commissioner Adrian Garcia. I've been here since 1989. Adrian, I think I've heard your name as long as I have been here. In some capacity, you have been, you've been the sheriff, you've been the mayor pro tem, member of city council, commissioner of Precinct 2. You're a true public servant, and I want to thank you up front for that. You've been around forever.
Well,
in a good way.
Look, first of all, congratulations to you guys for this incredible show. I get a great vibe from it. So all the best to you and much success. But Houston's been good to me. Look, I'm a proud son of immigrant parents, and Houston just gave me the opportunity to serve the way I should serve the city. And so I'm just honored. I'm blessed.
Okay, you got to tell me. What gives you the biggest headache? Of all the different jobs you've had, which one keeps you up at night most?
It's all relative, but the one that did keep me up at night was being sheriff. So I have immense respect for Sheriff Gonzalez because the work of our law enforcement doesn't stop just from 8 to 5. It's an around-the-clock effort, and so we always have to respect and honor our law enforcement officers.
So we were just talking to Chris Hollins about the deficit in the city of Houston and salaries and pick-up trash and that sort of thing. You at Harris County Commissioners Court voted to raise minimum wages of county employees. So I want to ask you, raise them from what to what, and why was that important to you? Because he's trying to cut costs when it comes to overtime, at least. And you're not trying to cut costs; you're raising those wages.
Yeah. Well, look, it's a matter of priorities, and where the latest action that we've taken is specifically to raise the salaries of our janitorial staff, and those that are not only work for the county, but those that are provided to us through vendor services. And look, on the side note, my mom was a janitor, so I have an immense respect for those men and women that take care of these buildings when we're gone, and they make sure that it's tidied up for the next guest in the morning, and so immense respect for them. But it's also about making sure that we do what we can to impact the quality of life, ensure that we're addressing ways to impact poverty, and so doing what we can to ensure that people who are doing a honorable work, a hard-working service for our communities are also being compensated appropriately.
And that other part of compensation is access to health care.
That's right.
And we understand that's a big concern for a lot of people living in your precinct. You've been quoted as saying that your precinct has some of the lowest rates of health care insurance in all of Texas. So talk to us a little bit about that and what you're doing to address that currently.
Celeste, when I ran for this job, I talked about 5 things. One of them is that I have the lowest median income of all of Harris County, which as a consequence, I think gives me the lowest homeownership rate of all of Harris County, which as a consequence, I believe impacts my lowest educational attainment rate at the high school and post-high school level, which I absolutely believe impacts the fact that I have the highest number of children and families without health insurance, which also impacts the fact that I have the highest mortality rate by 20 years on my side of town. I have the highest rates of cancer in some areas in the county, and in some areas I have the highest rates of cancer in the state. So making sure that I have good, equitable, accessible, quality health care for members of my community has been priority number one. It's why I work to implement the smart pods to access to health smart pods. And that was to make sure that, look, the world-renowned medical centers in our backyard, but for many in my precinct, they don't even know it exists because they can't afford it, they can't access it, they can't get to it. And so creating partnerships with Baylor College of Medicine was essential for me to make sure that that service is being provided to everyone in the county, but especially those who are confronted with the challenges that I have.
We have to have a healthy society.
That's right.
There's no question about that.
And I'm curious how the pods work. Are you trying to encourage people to do preventative measures? Because I think a lot of times people don't understand that the preventative is what can really be that key component to healthcare.
You're spot on. Making sure that we develop early healthy habits is critical, making sure our children learn this. but also to make sure that those who are sort of speaking to your first question, speaking to those that are on hourly wages. You know, if you tell someone, hey, go get your annual checkup, well, that's maybe 2 hours out of my day. That's 2 hours salary. Yeah. That's 2 hours that impacts my ability to go buy eggs, go buy milk, pay the rent. So people may put that off to the side. So the access to health smart pods are placed in some of my parks so that it's walkable. Excellent. Making sure that I am leveraging the foot traffic that's going to my parks, but also giving them the opportunity to walk into one of my pods, get enrolled by the Harris County Health Department, getting enrolled with the Harris County, with the Harris Center for Mental Health Services as well, doing what I can to also diminish the stigma of mental health care. And so they're placed in places that you wouldn't think about, in my parks, in my community centers, so that it's walkable. That's the key.
Accessibility.
Exactly.
I'm going to take a little broader view here when we talk about raising the minimum wage for county employees. But as we look, prices keep going up. Rents are so. I know people who have minimum wage jobs and can't afford rent, can't afford groceries. Right. We're on a path that looks very dangerous. It's going to collide at one point. What can we be doing? What can you be doing at a county level to help with this? Or is this beyond that local field?
No, look, I think we all have a role to play in this. And one of the things that I've been working on is working to create more good paying jobs in my side of town, but in the county in general. I was the one that led the first tax abatement in Harris County in 2019. 12 years prior was the last one that was done. This one created the Great Wolf Lodge, which created thousands of construction jobs and then ultimately created hundreds of seasonal and permanent jobs. Mm-hmm. So it's making sure that you're doing all you can to create a more robust employment sector that can serve everyone in the county. The other thing that I've worked hard to do is to ensure that the money that I spend, whether on construction or landscaping or other types of services, that I do what I can to recruit area businesses from Precinct 2 to help lift that median income and create opportunities. So I'm very bullish on telling our vendors, hey, we're creating an opportunity here in Harris County. Congratulations for getting a contract. But don't forget the people that live around the area. Think about ways to employ them and create opportunities for them.
Are you ready for the World Cup?
Absolutely. Frank, I'll tell you that before I joined City Council, one of my last side gigs as a Houston cop was protecting the World Cup at the U.S.-Mexico exhibition game that was played in Argentina in 2003. Wow. There was so much energy that I told someone, look, when the building starts to crumble, I'm going to take this World Cup and I'm going to run. You can follow me. But then I joined City Council and I worked with Oliver Luck, who was the CEO of the Houston Sports Authority at the time. And we traveled to Mexico to try to bring a franchise here, ultimately ended up with the San Jose Earthquakes, and that became the Houston Dynamo. But the conversation back then was, if there was any debate that Houston was a soccer team, that debate should have been diminished with that U.S.-Mexico exhibition game. And to be here in our lifetime, to be hosting the World Cup, is absolutely exciting.
So we had someone that asked about the grass situation. Do you have any idea what that situation is about?
Turf versus real grass.
The World Cup has very strict guidelines.
Yeah.
They need to have real grass, not artificial stuff. And so it's a conversation. It's a requirement. And
so we're going to do it.
Hey, look, we want to get the World Cup again. So we're going to do everything they need us to do to make sure it's successful.
Well, we want to get you again, and we're going to do everything we can to make you. So thank you so much for coming in and joining us on the show.
Congratulations again.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Your public service for your whole life. Thank you for being you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
So we're going to take a quick break.
Yep. Coming up on the second hour of Hello Houston, joining us will be epidemiologist Dr. Catherine Troisi, chefs Evelyn Garcia and Henry Liu, and many more. And we're also taking your calls on any of today's topics at 713-440-8870. This is Hello Houston on News 88.7.
Stay tuned. There's more Hello Houston on the way with Ernie Manouse, Celeste Díaz Schurman, and Frank Billingsley. For the latest in local news, subscribe to the Hello Houston Daily Newsletter at HoustonPublicMedia.org. Hello Houston is a production of Houston Public Media. The opinions expressed by the guests of this program are solely their own and do not represent the views of management, staff, or underwriters of Houston Public Media. This is News 88.7.
Houston Public Media is licensed to the University of Houston system, governed by the UH Board of Regents. Information about open meetings, dates, times, and locations is online at uhsystem.edu.
Real nice sunny day today, currently 79. This is your NPR station, KUHF Houston, News 88.7, a service of the University of Houston.
Hello, Houston. Welcome back to Hour 2 of the launch of our new show, Hello, Houston. Coming up this hour, the fun continues with more familiar names here to help us celebrate the rich and unique culture of the Bayou region.
Starting with this season's Bravo's Top Chef contestant, owner of June Houston, Chef Henry Liu, and Chef Evelyn Garcia, to the man who keeps us laughing, comedian and sports personality, Shinadu.
We have you covered from arts and politics to news headlines and new places to visit.
On the news front, the first case of measles was reported in our area. We'll hear from epidemiologist Dr. Catherine Charisi to better understand what this could mean for you.
And we'll talk to my friend Courtney Zavala. Ernie and Celeste and I are excited to hear from you. So join the conversation by phone, text, or online. We're waiting to hear from you.
The conversation around the best of what Houston has to offer continues.
Hello Houston is made possible in part by founding sponsors John Bradshaw and Kathy Sanders, and by gifts from listeners like you.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Lakshmi Singh. President Trump is declining to confirm that he won't stay in office after his second term ends in 2029. As NPR's Hansi Lo-Wang reports, legal experts say there are plausible strategies Trump could try to make an end run around the Constitution's presidential term limits.
The 22nd Amendment bans a person from being elected president more than 2 times. But some legal experts say there are ways President Trump could try to make end runs around the 22nd Amendment, because winning an election is not the only way a person can become president of the United States. For example, a twice-elected president could become vice president and then return as the next president if the current president were to be removed from office, resign, or die. And a former 2-term president serving as Speaker of the House of Representatives could become president through the Presidential Succession Act of 1947. These scenarios, however, would challenge the common understanding of the 22nd Amendment's presidential term limits and would likely be met with lawsuits. Hansi Lo-Wang, NPR News, Washington.
Both Wisconsin Supreme Court candidates are out campaigning today ahead of an election tomorrow that will determine if the court's majority flips from liberal to conservative. Chuck Kernbach of member station WUWM in Milwaukee reports.
Circuit Court Judge Brad Schimmel has been endorsed by President Trump, and groups backed by business executive Elon Musk have poured in $20 million of support. The Republicans say the state Supreme Court contest could affect House redistricting in Wisconsin for 2026 and the Trump agenda. Schimmel says he and his supporters are energized.
I've never seen voters this revved up about a court race before.
Schimmel's opponent, Circuit Court Judge Susan Crawford, has backing from some prominent Democrats. She's promising to fight to the finish.
Fight for every vote we can get in Wisconsin, and I believe we can win this election on Tuesday.
Crawford says she's not made any promises on House redistricting. For NPR News, I'm Chuck Quirmbach in Milwaukee.
Elon Musk's SpaceX is set to launch a privately funded human spaceflight mission from Florida's Kennedy Space Center tonight. Central Florida Public Media's Brendan Byrne has more on the FRAM-2 mission.
The mission will take the crew of 4 international participants to a polar orbit, a first for human spaceflight. After launching, the Crew's Dragon capsule will head due south, putting them on an orbital path that will carry them over the poles of the planet. The crew will conduct 22 experiments from that orbit and will take the first X-ray from space. The mission is bankrolled by cryptocurrency entrepreneur Chun Wang, who was born in China but is a naturalized citizen of Malta. He'll serve as the mission's commander. A Norwegian film director, German robotics researcher, and Australian adventurer are also joining the FRAM-2 mission. For NPR News, I'm Brendan Byrne in Orlando.
From Washington, this is NPR News.
Live from News 88.7 in Houston, I'm Matt Thomas. Fort Bend County officials are tracking a case of the measles. News 88.7's Rob Salinas reports this case appears to be linked to international travel.
It's unknown if this case is tied to the outbreak in West Texas.
That's the epicenter of an outbreak that has sickened more than 400 people in the state, causing 1 death. Fort Bend County health officials say they're performing contact tracing on a 40 to 50-year-old woman who had recently returned to the United States. The Houston Health Department also sent out a notice saying that if anyone does get an exposure notification and develop symptoms, to make sure to inform their clinic before going in for testing. I'm Rob Salinas, News 88.7.
And our new show, Hello Houston, will have more on this here in just a moment. League City Council members voted unanimously to honor the memory of 4 women killed in the infamous Texas killing fields. The memorial will be part of Pat Hollisley Park planned a 106-acre sports complex. Councilman Sean Saunders says his vision for the tribute is something that will stand out.
I want this memorial not to be just something that people just easily walk by. I want it to be something that is prominent in this park, that when you go into this park, you can see it, that it catches your eye, that it's just not something that somebody's just going to walk past.
City officials say construction is set to start on the park in 2026. The Rockets play again tonight, but it's a late one. Tip-off not until 9 o'clock. They take on the Lakers on the West Coast. This is after they beat the Phoenix Suns yesterday, 148-109. The Rockets now have a 49-26 record coming down the stretch. Checking out the weather, highs in the mid-80s this afternoon with a north wind, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Clear this evening, but then we'll cloud up a little bit and get some fog by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. Lows in the mid-60s. Mostly cloudy tomorrow morning, but then the sun comes out. Highs in the lower 80s. I'm Matt Thomas, News 88.7.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Progressive Insurance, home of the Name Your Price tool, so drivers can see coverage options at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. Price and coverage match limited by state law. And the listeners who support this NPR station.
Did you know 80% of our funding comes from listeners like you, right here in Houston? That's why your support is so important. When you give to Houston Public Media, you're investing in trusted news and educational programming that millions depend on daily. Every dollar you give makes a difference, ensuring this public service stays strong for everyone in our community. Help us support this mission. Give today at HoustonPublicMedia.org or call 888-909-0887.
Live from the University of Houston, it's Hello Houston, an open forum on today's biggest stories affecting Houston and beyond. Call now, 713-440-8870, or let us know your thoughts on today's topics by emailing us at talk@hellohouston.org. Now here's your host for Hello Houston, Ernie Manouse, Celeste Díaz Schurman, and Frank Billingsley.
Welcome back. Hello, Houston.
Oh, Lord.
That's going to get really old. But
it is very fast.
I'm Frank Billingsley.
I'm Celeste Díaz Schurman.
That makes me Ernie Manouse. And we're in the second hour of our premiere of Hello Houston.
That's right. And we want you guys to keep the comments coming. We see all of them on our YouTube channel. Jamie Wagner says, whose house? Coog's house. That's right, Jamie. Stella from Cabo. Congrats on your launch. Thank you, Stella, for watching on your vacation in Cabo. That sounds fabulous.
Unless she lives in Cabo.
That's true. She could live in Cabo. I'd take it. I live in Cabo.
We all live here in Houston, and we invite you to give us a call. Our number is 713-440-8870, and you can join the conversation. Somebody who is joining us right now in studio, and then we're going to get to what we want to talk about because he also is into what we're about to talk about.
Yes.
Happens to be my next door neighbor. That has nothing to do with why he's here. He is Harper Waters. He is a principal dancer at the Houston Ballet, which I should say congratulations on becoming principal dancer. That just happened.
Thank you so much.
That's huge.
That is
so
big.
Cool.
Thank you.
He has been with Houston Ballet since 2011. He was first promoted to soloist in 2021 and now principal. It's great. Welcome to the show, Harper.
I'm so excited to be here. This is an incredible space. I have to admit that I did not know I was going to be on camera today. So
Me either.
I'm just glad that I stay by the mantra of if you don't have to get ready, you stay ready, right?
There you
Yeah,
go.
I like it.
Well, always make your bed. You never know if guests are going to come over.
That's right.
Well, I just saw myself on camera, and I always thought Dolly Parton had the biggest hair in showbiz. I think I might have some really big hair going here. The reason we introduced you so quickly was we were about to talk about one of our favorite obsessions, which is The White Lotus.
Yes.
And then you mentioned you're obsessed with it.
I'm obsessed. I fully set my week around that.
I know,
watched
right?
last night. I have many thoughts, many theories, but I feel
Okay.
like they're all going to be wrong.
Tell me, though, what did you think
Okay,
about last
hold on,
night?
everyone.
What?
Spoiler alerts, folks. If you have not watched it
Then
yet,
that's on you, because
that's
you
on
should have
you,
watched
'cause
it. Like
we
No, they
stayed up
should have.
late.
I have severe FOMO with these type of things, so I have to be a part of it.
I'm with you.
Otherwise, I feel like I'm missing out on.
So what did you think about last night?
Okay, I have to say I'm Team Lori when it comes
Oh.
to the three women.
Yes.
I'm Team Lori.
Absolutely,
Yes,
the
and I saw
baddies.
this morning on Instagram they kind of associated the characters with the zodiac signs, and she's a Capricorn and I'm a Capricorn, so I feel very vindicated in that.
I never thought of it quite like that.
Yes.
She's the one that was at the fights.
Yes, she went to the fight.
And we know where she went after the fight.
Yes, and she had quite the night after the fight.
And then she had to sneak out. Did you notice when she was sneaking out of the...
She saw something.
She saw the jewelry.
She saw
Right.
something.
So
jewelry,
no question.
I like that you're still holding back on the spoiler alerts.
Yes,
but
I feel
yes,
bad
yes.
because I don't want to completely ruin it, because I feel like if people watch this show, they will be fully immersed in it, and so I just don't want to take that experience away from them because
Totally.
it's amazing.
But there's so many loose ends to wrap
Right.
up with one episode.
But I'm kind of the person that if it wasn't for this and our obsession with it, I would maybe wait till the end and then watch it all at once, kind of binge
You're
watch
like
it.
that,
So I
Ernie.
don't
You
want to
would do that.
ruin that for folks who are doing it. But suffice to say, it's been very enjoyable for the third season.
Yes, and I hear the discourse online of comparing the seasons,
Yes,
but I think
I'm
that
comparing them.
it's so amazing that they stand alone, and I think that the people who are saying this is a controversial opinion, but I think the people who are saying it's a bad season don't appreciate the patience and the
Yes, the way it's shot.
suspense.
Yes.
It's as a dancer, I want people to come to the ballet and enjoy the full 3 acts. I don't want them to feel it's not over in one act. You have to watch from beginning, middle to end, and it will be worth it.
I like that.
Yes,
And
I agree.
this one feels more like a vacation.
Yes.
It is kind of a slow burn.
Yes.
And it doesn't all happen at once, and it's
Totally.
not one drama after another. What's been interesting is so many things could have gone wrong last night, but they didn't.
No.
Yeah.
Like Lori, your Capricorn, she could have gotten into a real mess.
Bad
But I'm saying,
situation.
but not, and then Rick goes to meet his father or his guy who killed his father.
I have my
I'm still
theories
not
on
sure.
that, too.
I know.
We all have
but
theories on
nothing
that.
bad really happened. It was kind of weird, but
I will say I am fascinated by the fact that next week's the last episode already. I feel like there's so much more I need to
I don't know
explore
how we're
on
going to
all
tie it
these
up.
characters.
I've gotta
You're dying to say something over here.
Unpopular opinion. One, I completely agree with you. I think the cinematography, the way it is shot, and the way every single season you really take on the feeling of you are there, whether it's Hawaii, whether it's
Right.
Thailand, you really take on the resort feel. I you get in my calf can and watch. But I will say I was disappointed. I understand what you're saying about the long, the anticipation, the build, the character development. I thought last night was kind of a nothing burger. Unpopular opinion.
Okay, anything we need to know about you real quick?
No, this could turn into a White Lotus podcast
I know,
real
it
fast.
could. And it
really
should.
could.
It should. So what do you have coming up?
Well, we are currently finishing up a break. We just finished 4 weeks at the Wortham. We did a mixed rep program, which is where I got promoted on stage, which I will...
That must
Amazing.
have been just
Yeah.
a moment for you.
It really was. I mean, this is my 14th season with the Houston Ballet. It feels like just yesterday I moved here as a 16-year-old.
Wow.
So do the math.
Yeah.
But then we finished The Sleeping Beauty, and that was actually my 4th time doing the production in my time here. So really great with that. But actually coming up, we have the world premiere of Raymonda, Stanton Welch's big production. And then following that, we'll go to Japan for 2 weeks on tour. So.
Oh, really?
That is incredible. I have a question for you, Harper. What is the process to become, you mentioned the start from being 16 years old, but do you have to audition to be a principal? How do you achieve that?
Yeah, so you have to audition to join the company, but I think once you're there, you sort of are auditioning every day with your work ethic, with how you show up for yourself, how you show up for others. I don't think that anyone's path is the same. It's not always linear. Mine has definitely been long, but I wouldn't change any part of it because I think everything that has happened for me performance-wise and role-wise, it's just taught me something that I've taken with me with each performance. And so I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to have my work recognized by my directors.
Well, we love to celebrate everything Houston here on the show, and you're one of our favorite things in Houston to celebrate.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you. Thank you, Harper.
Don't go anywhere. I mean, you're part of the theater crowd. We're bringing in more theater crowd.
We are. Joining us, and I can see her right across from me, it is Tamari Cooper. Dear friend of mine, you probably know her from the Tamari Cooper Show, which is a perennial favorite here in Houston. She is also with Catastrophic Theater, where she keeps herself busy all year long in a myriad of roles, and a dear friend of mine. Hello, Tamari.
Hi, Ernie. I am so excited about this new show. I've been demanding more Ernie for a long time now.
I know, right? Well, now you got some Ernie, some Frank.
I know. And Celeste and Frank, I have spent many nights with you.
Thank you. They were lovely.
That sounds much more tawdry, but
we're going to be in season 4 of White Lotus, you and me.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so Tamari,
I think we have the cast here right now.
Yeah, are you a White Lotus fan?
I am, and I was getting mad waiting that I wasn't going to get a chance to weigh in.
Well, welcome into the conversation.
Join the combo, and you can join the conversation as well. Give us a call, 713-440-8870.
Before we get into all of our theater chit-chat, so your thoughts on White Lotus?
What do you think?
Okay, well, I am not quite caught up on the 3rd season, but of course I love it. I've loved every single one. They have the best guest stars, Jennifer Coolidge, Parker Posey. It's like all the gay icons right there. Yeah. And my latest thing I've been playing with friends is, which resort would you want to stay at if you could only stay at one of them, of the 3?
I know.
Well,
Easy.
I have friends who are going to Italy next month.
So you would do Italy?
If they had given me enough notice, I probably would have. It was a Christmas gift from a friend of mine to his wife. They're going to the Italy one.
Well, if I had to pick which resort on White Lotus I would go to, it would absolutely be the Thailand one.
Oh, see, the snakes scared me off.
Yeah, no, too many bugs.
Too many bugs.
No,
Snakes, too many lizards. Take me to Italy. It looked cleaner and quieter.
I'm with you. We're going to go to Italy. We're going to sit and drink and eat wonderful Italian food and go into the villages and come back.
Harper, where are you going to go?
Well, I was going to say, after the first few episodes, I would have said just because of Valentin, I would go to Thailand. But, I think for now, I just would go to Italy.
Yeah. So we're all going to Italy, it looks like.
No, I'm in Thailand.
You're
I'm
in
gonna have
Thailand?
a detox sash and do a little yoga. I want green juice all day long.
Spoken by the woman who gets up at 4 a.m. to go run every day.
What we need to do is go to Italy and then go to Thailand to detox from Italy.
Done.
That's what I think
a
we need.
point.
Just make it a World White Lotus tour.
Yes.
Tamari, really quickly, when we're talking about a show like White Lotus, the White Lotus, what is it from a performing point of view that you think makes these characters so amazingly engaging? They're not really stereotypes, but we know them so well so quickly.
Well, I think someone was saying this earlier. There's something about allowing the time for plot and character development. And so you have these remarkable actors, all of them, every single person in the show. And you get to have a lot more nuance than just, say, in a 30-minute typical sort of sitcom or even drama. So I think that's really what allows it. I mean, his writing is superb, the creator, and I think you get to really know them by being able to sort of bask in their stories.
Yeah. When you're looking at deciding things for the season for Catastrophic, or even when you're writing the Tamari Cooper Show, what do you look for to bring an audience in? How do you know they're going to connect?
Well, I try to make it as much like the White Lotus as possible.
Yeah.
No, enough about that. We try to do shows, as sort of broadly can say, about what it's like to be a human on this planet. I know that's very broad, but we try not to land too much into one specific political or social sort of commentary. We're not message-driven theater. Our plays tend to be more open-ended in question, more dreamlike, more poetic. Actually, I feel like our theater has more in common with dance often because it is something where you come in and it's not necessarily spoon-fed to you. You don't know the punchline before you get the joke in the theater. A lot of shows that people kind of already are familiar with the topic. That's why we do a lot of world premieres as well. a lot of new work.
And I like on your website and we don't talk about money here on public radio, but your ticket price, you say, you know what, if you can afford a little more, we'll take it. If you can't afford quite the ticket price, that's okay too. It's a very welcoming way, I think, to say,
yes,
we're doing theater and we want you to come.
It is a pay what you can model. It's actually a core value, not just a marketing plan for us, where we really try to strip away any kind of financial barrier so that more people have access to the theater and to arts.
Has it worked?
It has. It really has. And I'm very proud of that, actually. And sometimes people are apologetic with, like, I could only pay $5 or something. No, we want you to have this experience. I think that so often, I mean, it's expensive to make art, as we all know.
But your cast has really grown.
Yeah, and the tickets, at other organizations too, it just grows and grows in cost. And so I think a lot of the younger people who might be interested in taking a risk at coming to see the arts feel like sometimes they're shut out because of ticket prices.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, the clock is never our friend around here. But before I let you go, I have to ask, what have you got in store for this year's Tamari Cooper show?
Yes, another Ding Dang Tamari show is what it's called. And this one, it's my 29th. I can't believe I'm saying that. But it's really about the creative process and sort of the premise of the world is on fire, so let's do musical theater.
Yes, let's join the burn. I've been watching you since you were at Stages, so it's nice.
Oh, yeah.
Nice to see you in your own hall.
Well, I hope you'll come back often on the show. Harper, you too. Harper Waters' newest principal dancer with the Houston Ballet. And thrilled to have you.
Next Monday, you know what we're going to be talking about. So White Lotus.
White Lotus.
I'm tuning in.
Call
in. Come join us in
and
here.
Talk to us about it.
Okay. Tamari, thank you. What are you working on right now?
We open on Friday a world premiere play by award-winning playwright Lisa D'Amour called Frozen Section. It's very surreal and strange.
I read about it.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
I love the ad for it because it's like literally the frozen section at the grocery store.
Exactly.
Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you
Such
so
a
much.
joy.
Thanks.
Coming up in hour 2 of Hello Houston, Houston chefs Adrian Garcia and Henry Liu. Plus, Houston comedian Shinadu and social media influencer Courtney Savala. Call us. We love to hear from you. 713-440-8870. Let us know what's on your mind. This is Hello Houston on News 88.7.
I'm News 88.7 afternoon anchor Gail DeLauder. What makes a news anchor job challenging here in Houston is that there's so many moving parts. There's so much going on at any given time, and it's not the number of stories that we have, but things are constantly changing. Something that happened in the morning, there's a new development that we didn't expect, and we need to get people working on that aspect of the stories. So that's the most challenging part of it. You've got one big story going on, you've got another big story breaking over here, so you're keeping track of a big swirl of activity that's going on all around you.
I'm Robin Young. New York Times columnist Maureen Dowd's new book is a collection of interviews with the notorious Paul Newman, Tina Fey, Elon Musk.
I want operatic. I want larger than life. I want Shakespearean struggles, fatal flaws.
Next time, here and now.
You can hear it today at 1 o'clock on News 88.7.
It's one thing to love public radio, but it's a special thing to support it. Consider this. If you've got a car you don't need anymore, or you've got one that's simply too expensive to repair, you can arrange to donate it to Houston Public Media. We take any kind of vehicle in any condition. It's easy for you, pickup is free, and it could be worth hundreds of dollars in support. Visit HoustonPublicMedia.org/cars to learn more. And thanks.
Support comes from St. Luke's Health and St. Luke's Foundation, supporting clinical excellence, compassionate care, and a healthier future for all. More at supportstlukes.org.
Support comes from GiveMeTheVIN.com. Purchasing vehicles online with the VIN or license plate and photos, or by bringing the vehicle to Houston area offices. Details at GiveMeTheVIN.com.
And now back to Hello Houston. Call now, 713-440-8870, or email us at talk@hellohouston.org to get your comment in on today's topics. Here's Ernie Manouse, Celeste Díaz Schurman, and Frank Billingsley.
Hello, Houston.
Hello, Houston.
I love that
Hello,
little
Houston.
dramatic pitch at the end of that break there.
And now, how about another dramatic pitch? We are pitching to you to give us a call. Join the show. Hello Houston is all about you and the wonderful region we live in. Still haven't gotten suggestions for the name for this region.
You're stuck on not calling Houston Houston.
I want to call it Houston Land.
No, you're not.
Well, then give me another one. When we say Houston, I don't want anyone to feel excluded because there's so many great cities around us and so many people in this region. We need a good name for it. But anyway, if you have a suggestion or want to talk about anything we're talking about today, give us a call, 713-440-8870.
And this is Frank Billingsley. I want to remind everyone that if you've missed any part of today's show, the whole 2 hours will be available on all podcast platforms starting at 1 o'clock. And then we have the consumer cut, right?
That's right. And I'm Celeste Díaz Schurman. That's right, Frank. For our Houston commuters, we know we're a big commuter city. So we have a special podcast commuter cut made just especially for you guys. This special 40-minute version of our show will be available to you around 3 p.m. every single day. And we can take you from your job all the way straight to your driveway. And it will be available on all platforms.
That's the average drive home.
It's
in the
40
minutes. 40 minutes.
The average commute in the Houston Land area. See, we think of everything
Houston
here.
Land area.
In the Houston Land area. Come on, guys, help me come up with a better name for that.
Terrible.
Maybe our next guest will have that. They're two of the many superstars that make this fair city not just a culinary capital, but they call it home. We're welcoming chefs Adrian Garcia and Chef Henry Liu. They just happen to also be the co-owners of June in Houston, and they also... One has been, one currently is on Top Chef, but we're not talking about that. But we want to talk about it.
We so value it.
We do. Welcome to the
not.
program. Chef Evan, let me just ask you really quickly, because I don't want to ask him about Top Chef, but I'm just curious, how odd is it to go through making the show and then seeing it play back? Is it a lot different than what happens?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of edits that have to happen, because for a competitor, it's about a 12 to sometimes 14-hour day.
Wow.
For it to be all condensed into the show that airs I think it's 80 minutes now. They made it a little bit longer, by the way, this year.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of editing. There's a lot of things that need to be cut and that they may feel is not adding to the drama.
How much of your life did you have to spend when you were on the show? Is it 2 weeks, a month?
It's about 2 months.
2 months?
Yeah.
Wow.
That you just disappear.
And where do you shoot? Are you in LA? Is that in New York?
Whatever city it goes into.
Oh, it changes cities.
It changes city, yeah.
So, Henry, I'm not going to ask you about it, as I keep saying. But I am going to say, are you relieved it's done, or do you still miss the thrill of it?
Oh, you definitely miss the thrill of the whole thing. You know what I mean? They throw you right into it. And then you're going at it for days, weeks, months, and everything. And then all of a sudden they pluck you away. Yeah. And then you're just waiting.
Yeah, go back to your life now.
Yeah. So how different is that than starting a restaurant where they just throw you into it and it's never-ending days and it goes on and on?
That's got to
be tough. Different. Yeah, I feel like. I honestly, I did it before the restaurant. Mm-hmm. Henry's did it after the restaurant, and I felt like it gave me some kind of mental being ready for the restaurant. I was just like, you know what? I just did the most stressful thing in my life. This restaurant's going to be all right. Yeah. And also, we also had each other, we are partners from the beginning. We chose everything together and everything. So it is nice to have that. When you're in the competition, you're by yourself. It's you and your thoughts, and your experience. That's all really what you can rely on.
Yeah.
Well, this restaurant scene, I remember when a barbecue restaurant was a date night, in Houston. And now there are so many great restaurants. How do you compare the Houston restaurant scene to other big places around the country, or even the world for that matter?
Well, I think the most exciting thing about the Houston food scene is that it's changing so rapidly.
Yes.
And it's going to a very exciting territory and everything. That's why we were so excited to open up a restaurant here in Houston as opposed to New York or LA or anything.
Yeah.
We wanted to create something unique, fun, exciting for the Houston people.
Tell everyone about your restaurant. What makes it special?
Yeah, so June is a story of
We're slightly biased.
So you like this
pretty
place,
good. I know.
Pretty great, guys.
Yeah. I'll just tell you, it's hard to get into. That's how great it is. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, 2 years going, I was still hard to get in. I mean, that's great news for me, bad news for you. I was like, but you guys know some people now. I was like,
well, first of all, before we get into all that, the name June, it's not one of you, it's not the month. Explain what June is.
Yeah, so June is a play on the month. I was like, but it's the birth month of Evelyn, her mom, my sister, that made the restaurant possible. I was like,
June 22nd here.
Oh, there you go.
I said
all the
this
Geminis in our family.
earlier. My daughter's named Evelyn, so I was like automatically heartbeats.
Yeah.
Heartbeats.
Thank you. No, yeah. So honestly, for the restaurant itself, we really wanted to play an homage to the flavors and cultures that we grew up with. And that's really what June is about, just kind of celebrating that and showcasing that it very much has a lot of similarities. Although I grew up in Houston and him in New York, I'm Mexican Salvadorian, he's Chinese. We had a lot of very similar upbringing, and our palates are exactly the same, which is why it's so easy for us to create together. And really just showcasing that. And for me, just not only Houston, but now that we see it, it's been alive for 2 years already, and seeing our customers come in and really enjoy it and connect with it, we get to notice that it's a restaurant that just makes sense in Houston, and we're very proud of that.
We talked just a moment ago about how it's been 2 years on. It's still hard to get a table. So often a restaurant will shine bright and then fades quickly. What is the key to the staying power that you've had or that other restaurants could learn from you?
Keep making noise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Keep true to yourself.
True to yourself, to your idea, and constantly try to push yourself to be better. I think we started off strong, but we've changed a whole bunch from opening. But in the sense of how can we make this experience better for the guest? How can we make the food better? How does it translate better? We're always just trying to improve. And it's in a sense of not, obviously, in reward, it makes sense for the guest gets to enjoy it better. But for us, we were just shake it. We're like, how can we make this better? How can we improve for ourselves? Because at the end of the day, it is our vision and our baby. And we were like, how can we make it better? It's good, but how can we improve and just make it all around a better experience? And that's what I say. I'm like, just keep moving, keep making noise, creatively push yourself. And that's what we have to constantly do to keep June.
Last question in the 2 seconds we have left. Chef Henry, first time in the restaurant, what do you order?
That's what I was going to ask.
Great question.
Fried chicken. Definitely my thing.
Interesting.
Is it like Korean fried chicken?
No, we do like
It's
a
very
shrimp
different,
paste, oyster sauce, and everything. So it's something very familiar and very nostalgic to a lot of people. Fried chicken, I'll say, but we do our own little twist on it.
I'm coming, and just so everyone knows, it's JUN.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you on open table? How do people
you
find
can make
it?
reservations open table.
And pray when you go for that reservation that you actually get it.
We do have space for walk-ins. Don't worry. I was like,
you're very kind
it's
to
not
show us.
impossible to get
Yeah.
in, but
Thank you so much.
Thank you both for coming in.
yeah, no, thank you guys for
Chef
having me.
Great to see you.
Chef Evelyn Garcia and Henry Liu of June Houston. Again, thanks for joining Ernie, Frank, and I.
Yeah,
This is
thank you
fabulous.
guys for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So, earlier we were talking about how right here on Hello Houston, one of the things that we will be doing is bringing up some of the major headlines that we're seeing coming across every single day in the morning. And one of the big concerns right now is within our public health space, and that's this hour's top story. The Fort Bend County Health and Human Services confirmed its first case of measles in the county yesterday. So what we know from county officials is the case involves a 50 to 60-year-old woman who was potentially exposed after recently traveling internationally. According to the Texas Health and Human Services website, at least 400 cases have been confirmed in the state since late January, and 41 patients have been hospitalized. In February, an unvaccinated school-aged child died of the disease in Lubbock, marking the first death of the disease in the state since the outbreak.
I have so many questions about this.
Well, we have the person who can give you those answers to so many of those questions. We'd like to welcome to the show Dr. Catherine Troisi. You may recognize that name. She's been a regular visitor here on our station. She is the vice chair of the Science Board of the American Public Health Association. She's also an epidemiologist with an interest in infectious disease, public health preparedness, and bridging the gap between academia and practice. Dr. Troisi, good to see you again.
Hi.
Hello.
Great to be here.
So we put
great.
one to rest and another thing pops right up. Measles. What can you say to us right now to understand what we're witnessing?
And can we go sort of basic, like what is measles? Mm-hmm. And how is it different than German measles?
Yes. Okay. Let me start with that. German measles is a different virus. It's called rubella. And German measles is what's really bad if you get it when you're pregnant because it can affect the baby. It's called congenital rubella syndrome. Measles is a different virus.
Right.
It is one of the most infectious viruses we know. Each person with measles infects 15 to 18 other people who are not already immune.
Airborne?
It is airborne, and it can stay in the air for up to 2 hours. So you can be exposed. Somebody has measles, they come into a room, they leave, you come in, you don't even know they've been there, and you can get measles.
You were vaccinated as a child. Still good?
Yes, I was not vaccinated as a child
okay.
because if you were born before 1957, a vaccine came out in 1963. It is assumed that everybody born before 1957 is immune because measles is so contagious that every child got it then. But yes, whether you got the virus and had measles or you were vaccinated, lifelong immunity. With a couple of caveats.
We're waiting for it. You paused.
Yeah, it's never simple. So as I mentioned, the first vaccine came out in 1963. Mm-hmm. It was a good vaccine. It wasn't as good as the vaccine we have now that came out in 1969. And so if you were vaccinated between 1963 and 1969, the recommendation is you get the new vaccine, which is really like the gold standard for vaccines. It is so effective. Also, if you were vaccinated with that new vaccine between 69 and 89, the recommendation at that time was only for one dose. But we had a big measles outbreak, and so the recommendation changed in 1989 that you get a second dose. So now the recommendation is 2 doses.
Okay, so if you just don't know, and maybe you've had it, and maybe you haven't, is it okay just to go and get a measles vaccine?
It is absolutely okay. Yes.
So
there is no harm to getting the measles vaccine, even if you've had it, even if you've had measles.
Okay, you're hearing that from Dr. Catherine Troisi, who's with
That is not medical advice. I just want to say for the lawyers out there. This is CDC recommendation.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I just want to welcome you to our show. This is really a fascinating subject. Why are people just not even getting vaccinated? Why are they trying to face this head on? And I know you're not a psychiatrist, but explain this to me.
No, I'm hesitating because it's how much time do you have?
Well, Dr. Troisi, as a parent, I know that vaccines really is a concern for a lot of people. And younger people are becoming we ask a lot more questions. What is this? Why should I be giving my child these vaccines? My son, Philip, actually just turned 4, and he got his first second measles. I don't remember exactly vaccine, the second one. And so explain to us what your thought is in regards to where is that concern coming from?
Yeah, there are a lot of reasons why we have been seeing vaccination rates go down. And this is not just in the U.S., this is worldwide.
Right.
Some of them are structural. If you're in a conflict zone, it's hard to get vaccines out there. Vaccines usually require a cold chain. They have to be kept cold from the time they're produced to the time they go into somebody's arm. That's hard in low-income countries, things like that. In the United States, more of the issues are vaccine hesitancy, as you're talking about. And that's always been around, but it has really increased since a fraudulent, unethical, immoral, unscientific, is that enough adjectives? Study was published in 1999. It's since been retracted, purported to show a association between autism and measles vaccine. There have been many, many studies since then looking at it, never been reproduced. So that really started the increase in hesitancy. The pandemic really increased it even more.
Help us understand why this single case we're hearing about now in Fort Bend, why that should be of concern to us, and what, from an epidemiology point of view, you can see happening from this.
So what we are seeing now, and I will say that there are 20 jurisdictions in the United States that are seeing measles cases. This is not confined to Texas, unfortunately. We have the biggest outbreak, however. Where people are not vaccinated, the virus can spread. As I said, it's very, very infectious. So the concern is if you have a case in an area where vaccination rates aren't what they should be, and we think you need at least 95% of the population immune to stop the spread, then you can have an outbreak like is happening in West Texas.
Well, I'm sure it's coincidental, and I'm sure you know this, that the first case of COVID was in Fort Bend County in our area on March 4th, 2020. So what do you suggest that people do now?
So as we said, if you had measles, if you're old like me and you had measles, or you've been vaccinated, you are fine.
And if you will not get it?
You will not get it.
Okay.
I mean,
I know.
we never say anything 100%.
You probably will not get it.
You very, very probably will not get it.
If you do, what should you do?
If you do get measles?
Yes.
Yeah. Call your healthcare provider. Do not go into the office because you can expose a lot of other people. And measles is particularly severe in those under age 5 and in pregnant women and those who are immunosuppressed. So one of the reasons we want to stop the spread of measles is not just to protect the children who are getting measles. It's a serious illness. It can be very serious. We've already seen 2 deaths.
Are you contagious before you present?
Yes, you can be contagious before you present. And the first symptoms you might not recognize as measles, the itchy eyes, the cough, etc. So we want the community to be protected. We call it herd immunity, community immunity, so that we can protect those children who have leukemia, the person who's gotten a liver transplant, because they can't be vaccinated. So it's a community effort to protect others.
Wow.
Well, that was Dr. Catherine Troisi, Vice Chair of the Science Board of the American Public Health Association. Dr. Troisi, thank you so much for joining us today on Hello Houston.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Coming up on Hello Houston, we'll be speaking with Houston comedian Shinadu and social media influencer Courtney Savala. And we are also taking your calls on any of today's topics at 713-440-8870. This is Hello Houston on News 88.7.
Houston Public Media brings to you PBS World, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on TV 8.6. Experience the personal connection behind the headlines with programming devoted to telling stories that humanize complex issues. PBS World helps us understand the movements, conflicts, and cultures that connect us all. PBS World on TV 8.6 and online at houstonpublicmedia.org.
Hi, I'm Craig Cohen, the host of Houston Matters. Join me weekday mornings at 9 or at your leisure on your podcast feed for your daily guide to the people, places, issues, and ideas that define Greater Houston. From politics to the economy, energy to the environment, healthcare to education to transportation and beyond. If it matters to Houston, it matters to us. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts or live on the air weekdays at 9 a.m. right here on News 88.7.
Support for Houston Public Media comes from Visit Galveston, presenting Art Walk. Various artists featured in downtown galleries and artist studios. Now open to the public on the second Saturday of each month. More at visitgalveston.com.
Support comes from UT Health Houston, home to maternal fetal specialist Dr. Jerry Refuerzo, who helps keep moms and babies healthy and safe through high-risk pregnancies and births. More at uth.edu/manyfaces.
Support comes from Lockton, an independent insurance brokerage firm dedicated to helping businesses and their people reach their goals with strategies for employee engagement, satisfaction, and productivity. More at lockton.com.
Support comes from Houston Grand Opera, presenting Missy Mazzoli's contemporary opera Breaking the Waves, making its Houston debut at the Wortham Center from April 19th through May 4th. Tickets are available at hgo.org.
And now back to Hello Houston. Call now, 713-440-8870, or email us at talk@hellohouston.org to get your comment in on today's topics. Here's Ernie Manouse, Celeste Díaz Schurman, and Frank Billingsley.
Hello there, Houston.
Hello,
it's
Houston.
still us.
It's still us.
They always get mad when I say still us.
I was
Like
gonna say.
people are waiting, right? It's still them. But no, it's been such a great day today. So much celebratory chit chat and some wonderful guests. And we're not stopping now because sitting across from me at the table, and you can see this if you watch us on YouTube, is social media influencer and dear friend of many of us on this panel, Courtney Zavala. Hello there, Courtney.
Hello, friends.
How are you?
Congratulations. And hello, Houston.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. You look stunning.
Oh, who, me?
You do.
Thank
You look
you.
great. You look great.
See what, not waking up at 2 a.m. does for somebody?
I will say, Courtney Zavala, I'm going to tell you this right here on air. You are one of the most beautiful people I know inside and out.
Thank you. That is
So
absolutely
kind.
beautiful thing to say. Thank you so much.
And
It
so
means
true.
the world. Thank
So
you
true.
so much.
And quickly, how's Orlando, your husband?
Orlando is great.
And the 2 boys.
And the 2 boys are.
And Oscar.
I mean, listen, they are so good. The boys, my oldest son, or I always say my wedding, my children. I mean, we do share them. Our oldest son is 17. He's like a man child. He's taller than Orlando. It's super weird to look at your children as they grow. I mean, it's really amazing when they're little, but it's a very, it's hard on my mama heart to know he's got 1 year left of high school. But I look at him and he's, got a 6-pack abs and this inverted V. And I'm like, who are you?
Oh my God,
who
just
are
like
you?
me.
You birthed
It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, it's exciting, but it's also just like, I don't know. It hurts my heart a little bit because they're getting older.
I know. That's part of the way it works.
I know.
Talk to me a
but they're
little
great.
bit about people knowing you. Do you find that they know you in a different way thanks to social media than they did thanks to being in the news?
Perhaps yes, because in the news, and Frank, you can attest to this, right? I mean, we're very serious, right? I mean, we have a message to get across. Perfection is preferred. And on social, perfect is boring, right? I mean, I'm on there with no makeup, hair's crazy, dog might have just thrown up everywhere, things are exploding, whether that's good or bad, and I'm there to show it. And that is real life. And maybe they feel like they know me a little bit better because sort of you peel the onion away on social versus being perfect on the air.
Right. And I have a question for you also, Courtney, in that, you went from kind of like you said, that news, that certain personality, and now you have an influence and you have grown tremendously. I mean, my sister lives in Colorado and she follows you and she loves that. For a lot of people making career transitions, what advice would you give them?
I would say go for it. I'm constantly evolving. And for me, from, being a journalist of 25 years, it wasn't, I'm going to put air quotes here, it was an easy transition to go into social. It's certainly not easy. It is, you can't go dark. I mean, you have to be present all the time. And it's not something that comes together very quickly. It's a lot of work of editing and planning and it's curated. But for me, I feel like I still want to tell stories.
Totally.
And I'm still able to do that. And not everybody needs, as you guys are knowing right now, that, this is on YouTube, people are driving in their car, they're listening at home. The accessibility, we don't need a TV to tell our stories the way that we did years ago.
We have to meet the listeners and the viewers where they are.
Exactly.
And they're everywhere.
They're everywhere and they have 5 minutes.
Yes.
If that.
So how does the family feel? Are they along for the journey all the time? Or are there times where like, Ma?
No, you know what? It's been a part of their life, right? Since they were very little. Orlando he calls himself Mr. Zavala. Zavala is my name. And people just assume it's his. It's not. It's mine. But it was part of the life when we met, and the kids grew up in that. Now, I will say our oldest son, is a little bit more shy, a little bit more reserved. AJ, who was on air with me every now and then, gets annoyed when people are like, they didn't say anything to me. They don't know who I am. Annoyed,
funny.
not really, but he's like, I was on TV too.
Okay, I want to talk at our time here. I want to talk about what you're doing and the social influence. You do a lot of fashion.
You
do some fun recipes.
A lot of lifestyle. It really
Skincare,
is
too.
skincare. And I've worked with a brand to develop my own skincare. And so, It really is a piece of me. I'm giving you things that I love. I work out every single day. That's a portion of what I share as well. It's a part of what I need to get through the day to get the cobwebs out of my head. And everybody should work out at least 30 minutes a day, try to move, do something. As we get older, ladies, we are losing bone density. And the only way to retain that is by lifting weights. You're not going to get bulky, but that's how you're going to retain your bones.
That's a real thing.
And I think that that's an excellent point, Courtney, is that you, like you said, you show the real you, but you also show the things that your aspirations. I'm going to work out today, and you know what? My dog did throw up on my carpet.
Yeah,
I think that is that draw that women understand, because so many times we see things in it used to be magazines,
right?
TV shows or the news, and everything looks perfect.
It's not perfect at all.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to have that persona that it is, because my life is far from perfect. I'm a far from perfect person.
Yeah.
But I do like to give those glimpses of today was hard.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's better.
How do you also have time for yourself? Because you are giving parts of yourself out there. What kind of self-care do you have for yourself?
Well, the workout part is definitely super important for me to release. I am a constant yeser. I say yes to a lot of things, and I'm really trying to not do that. I'm trying to pause and do things that slow down when I need to.
Are you questioning having said yes to us?
No.
Okay, just want to make sure we're not one of them.
No. I love you guys, and I'm so honored to be here on your inaugural day.
If people want to find you on social media, where do they look?
Courtney Zavala, TikTok, Instagram, all of it.
I love it. And we have friends of the show here on Hello Houston, and Courtney's going to be one of our friends of the show.
Please? Yes. I don't know if I want to leave. Can I stay?
Yes.
You can stay in that chair. We got lots of extra chairs.
It was super fun. And crazy fact about me, I did have the measles when I was a baby.
Interesting.
My
there
mom,
you go.
Yeah, I was like 2 months old or something.
Hey, look who just walked into the studio.
Yo.
That's
hey, man. Look at you. You are looking cool.
I love y'all. Congratulations. And thanks for being with us.
That was social media influencer Courtney Zavala. Again, thanks for joining us on Hello Houston. And like Frank said, cat's out of the bag. We welcome Houston comedian and content creator Shinadu Ogu. He was born and raised here in the Bayou City and is best known for his viral videos about both Houston and Texas culture. He is also currently on his 7th comedy tour and preparing for his 5th comedy special. Shinadu, welcome to the program.
Yeah, how's it out there in Funny World?
I mean, it is always something to talk about. I'll say that. But it is great to be here, man. Thank you guys so much for having me here at Hello Houston.
Hello Houston. So I have been loving your U of H content.
Thank you very much.
It is fabulous. What do you think about the Cougs heading to the Final Four?
Honestly, the Cougar in me, because that is my, I am an alumni there. I went to school there. I got my bachelor's there. Went to School of Business. Shout out to Bauer College there in psychology. Shout out to Heine Building. That's my alma mater. So a lot of pride in the Cougars. I've seen all their home games. I'm the in-stadium host, too, for UH Athletics, though. So I host the football games and the basketball games.
Nice.
So I have a very close look at all the games and the intensity they bring. And it's just amazing. And I truly am so proud of these guys, these young men who are chasing dreams of athletic greatness, and they're very much on their way to that, led by an amazing Kelvin Sampson. When I tell you guys this is the best team in the country, I just know it. And what they're doing right now, I am very proud, but at the same time, it's not surprising to me.
Yeah.
Just being there, if you're in Fertitta Center, you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so this is the launch of Hello Houston, where we celebrate all things Houston. Your work celebrates all things Houston. What should we make sure we pay attention to as this show evolves and develops?
Yeah. Is this for me or for you guys?
Yeah,
well,
give us the
we
ends.
love
Give
advice.
us the ends.
Yeah, give us your advice.
I would definitely say what you guys are doing here is such a great thing, because Houston is a truly expanding city right now. A lot of new arrivals here and things like that. It is, I would say right now we're in an expansion of our culture. So what you guys are doing, just always remain consistent. That's the best thing I could always say. Remain consistent. Consistency, and authenticity. Y'all do what feels right. Do what you guys know and love, and always cater to the audience.
And I think you hit a good word, authentic. Houston truly is. We have our own vibe. We've covered arts today. We've looked at healthcare. We have some of the biggest industries right here within our city. I mean, it truly is.
And so many real experts on so many subjects. And
absolutely.
And even if you're not, people think that you are.
Well, Shinadu, you're an expert on Houston. What today is in your craw, caught in your craw about Houston. What's making you think differently about this city of ours?
Oh, what's annoying me? And listen, and
I wasn't want to say annoying, but that's fine.
Absolutely. I would say, man, listen, all the new arrivals, respectfully, guys, and I understand everyone has their reasons and things like that, but what I've always loved about Houston, it was big city, small town vibes. That was always kind of our thing. We're one of those cities. We have every major team, but at the same time, you can also see Bun B and Slim Thug at HEB one day. It's like it's like that. It's like that. Like you just see it. We're just there. And although that still remains, we have the new people that are arriving and that are adding to the traffic and all that stuff. And and they're not really they're not messing with the culture. If you live out here, you got to keep with our culture. You can't tell them, well, back home in Boston, I don't care. Back home in Boston. Or what it's like up there in Philly. Well, in Philly in 88, I don't care what it was like in Philly in 88. We beat the Phillies actually recently, though. I don't think you should want to bring that up to me.
Good point.
Mr. Philadelphia. But besides that, I would say just that. But even with that, I look at it as something I expect. We're a great city. And as we expand, I've always had the motto, and it may sound crazy. I tell people, listen, we grew up here. You flew up here. We understand it. It's a little different, but I don't mean that in a bad way. It's in a good way. Just as you come in, just get with the vibes. Yeah. And it's great. I need people to slow down because people from up north, they're still too aggressive down here. Slow down. Relax.
Well, I came from up north, but it's been about 30 years I've been here, so I've slowed down.
No, man, you're in the group.
I'm in the group now. Shinadu, thank you so much for coming in and being on our first show. I hope you'll come back, join us more often.
Absolutely, and you have a show happening right now.
I actually do. I will be at the Houston Improv May 1st. Tickets are on sale right now. It's a great sponsors, Bluebell Whataburger. If you go to my show, a lucky winner is going to win free Whataburger for a year, and 3 other winners are going to win free Bluebell for a year, though. So it's going to be a great time at the show.
Wow. Congratulations.
And thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, man. Much love. Hello, Houston.
Yeah. Hey. Remember, you can always join the conversation here at 713-440-8870. Even though as time ticks out today, we'll be back tomorrow with more time for you to give your thoughts and feelings. But before we wrap up, our very final guest on our very first show is someone very important to all of us. So please welcome Lisa Shumate. She's the Associate Vice President, UH System, and just also happens to be General Manager of Houston Public Media. She helped shepherd this show onto the air. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, you guys, congratulations. Thanks. What a great first show. What a celebration. And congratulations to the many people standing right outside the studio.
There's a lot of them
on
around.
the first floor, on the second floor, who all played a role in today.
So what gave you and the whole organization the idea that we needed this show, and why have we put this on?
Well, I think in the best organizations, the ideas come from within. Mm-hmm. And so I think it started from a couple of retreats ago where we were at an offsite and everybody just had a feeling that we needed to do more local programming, and the vision that we would do it not just on radio, but take advantage of this huge digital platform. And the idea snowballed from there.
Yes, it most definitely has. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can see we're in a studio loaded with cameras. We are also making a podcast. There's a commuter cut of that. There's the YouTube channel that has us going.
I was watching on YouTube.
Were you watching?
Absolutely. I brought my iPad and it will always be there.
How'd we look?
Great. Well, operator error, I'm sure it took me a minute to figure out how to watch on YouTube. But then all of a sudden there was a great, easy little banner and clicked it, and there you were.
There we were.
And there you were. And so that's how I'll be watching, because the set, let me just say this right now. If you're listening, you will want to go to YouTube as soon as possible and follow this show and watch, because this set has such energy, and these people, of course, have such energy, like our city. Yeah. And I know you did, that was the goal. Reflect the city, the optimism, the resilience, the energy, the excitement, and then the very serious things going on, where we're at the forefront.
Yeah.
Now, you name the topic, we have an expert in this town.
On this campus.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
To remind folks, you can go, if you're on YouTube, look for the Houston Public Media YouTube channel, and then you'll find us right there. This is your shepherding in this brand new show. But at the same time, you're moving on to a new chapter yourself. You made sure you got this up, and now you're leaving us.
You're the only one that can make me cry. You know that. I'm sorry. There's a little bit of it unexpected, but I really have loved every minute here at Houston Public Media, and I'm going to be around here another 2 months. Okay, so don't be ghosting me.
Yes, ma'am.
But yeah, this is really exciting, Ernie, because you know where we were 14 years ago. So loved and trusted, but our equipment was old. Our studios were old. You know, it was time to make some investments, but you can't do that without the people. So anyone listening, you've made this possible. So join in every day. And, you know, we've got a big campfire here.
As much as this is a celebration of Houston, it's a celebration of the time you have been here and what you've helped move this organization toward. And we are so thankful for that.
Well, it's the team. You know that, Ernie. It's
Teamwork
this whole
makes
team.
the dream work.
Exactly. Look at these two beautiful people here who have
you
joined
guys
recently.
Talk a bit, stop us from crying over on this end of the table.
Please do. Oh, yeah. I wasn't ready to do that yet. No.
Well, we've got you for a few more months with us here. And then what are you going to do next? There's new dreams ahead for you.
Well, yes. You know, being part, this is the thing, Frank and Celeste, let me just prepare you. Being on campus here at the University of Houston is very, very stimulating. And so I went and got, you know, an MBA, and then I got my coaching certificate, and I kind of fell in love with teaching. So I teach a class at the Bauer College of Business, and I'm going to continue professional development, teaching and training for the next generation of leaders.
Your impact will continue to be felt.
That's
Lisa
so nice
Shumate, thank you so much.
Best of luck.
Thanks to you guys.
And that brings us to the end of our first show. Frank, Ernie, same time, same place tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, Houston, as we say goodbye.
We want to thank you for joining us on the launch of Hello Houston. We will be back tomorrow with more conversations. This is News 88.7.
Thanks for listening to Hello Houston. Join us every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. to talk all things Houston. The Hello Houston production team includes Garrett Bowman, William Menjivar, Jen Altide, Todd Holslander, and Jim Kovacic. For the latest in local news, subscribe to the Hello Houston daily newsletter at houstonpublicmedia.org. Hello Houston is a production of Houston Public Media. The opinions expressed by the guests of this program are solely their own and do not represent the views of management, staff, or underwriters of Houston Public Media. This is News 88.7.
Support comes from Roco, performing live scores to 1920s and 1930s films, featuring